Hello, I am Optimus Prime, and here I will be reviewing the Transformers Heroes and Villains Optimus Prime and Megatron, or as people most commonly know them as the Cyber Battalion Optimus Prime and Megatron. So, starting off, we will be taking a look at these figures. But I'll be setting Optimus Prime back here, so we'll take a look at Megatron first. And look at Megatron. I do kind of like the more stylized look that he's going for. It does make him look unique and different. Very, very interesting. Here is how he looks from the back. Not bad. Surprisingly clean and detailed. Now take a look at the head. I do kind of like this head for a particular reason, because his head, while the gunmetal gray helmet is a little bit odd and the face doesn't totally read to me as Megatron, I do really like the fact that if you look at his eyes, it looks like he has like black bags under his eyes, like bags. How you know how sometimes your eyes would get like black, dark, and baggy like. That's basically what's going on with Megatron here. And to be honest, this is my single favorite. This is honestly my favorite thing about this version of Megatron. Kind of makes him look fun. The rest of him ain't too bad. I do really like how his chest is right here. All this like silver paint on here makes his chest look really cool. That combined with the treads here gives him a nice unique look to him. And of course he has a Decepticon badge right there on that panel. And these cutouts, which I'm assuming are like either cockpit areas or like cabs sections. If that is the case, then it is a giant tank. But like, the odd thing about this painted section right here is the fact that it kind of makes the rest of the figure look cheaper than it is. Look more cheap. It does make like the silver on everything else look cheaper. Which is not entirely the case. I mean, the plastic does feel nice. It feels durable. Feels good. And it feels nice and solid. I do kind of like how this plastic has this like marbling texture to it. I just wonder how that will hold up over time, because I've heard horror stories about swirly plastic like this basically crumbling apart. But I don't think that happens with all swirly plastic. I think it mostly happens with like gold plastic. Now his bottom half, while looking kind of plain and barren, it's honestly not too bad from the sides. I do kind of like how the treads just fold up right here. And if you actually look, now looking down at his feet, and if you bend his leg like this, you can see that he has like these missile pods on the insides of these gaps. Just too bad that there's nothing on the outsides of these feet. And the hollowness is another thing about this figure, where you do get a bit of hollowness, mostly with the arms and the legs down here, and a bit on the feet too. It's honestly the back, like the rest of his back, like mainly here, like his head and his torso, his back, looks very filled in and very detailed. I do kind of like that. Looks very cool. Very nice. Now, articulation wise, he does have a swivel at the head. It's a very stiff rotation. Okay. His arms can go out that far. He can rotate his arm like that, like so. And he does have an elbow joint, although it only has like 2 clicks. It has like 3 positions. Fully straight like this, halfway like this, and then 90-degree angle like this. Not that interesting. His legs are on these ratcheting joints, so ratchet. His legs can bend up that far, they can bend back that far, and he can do a little bit more than the full splits. Yeah, and this is ratcheted too. But his legs do this weird thing where there's like these indents. So opposing his legs can be a little difficult because it's either legs closing like this or legs out like that. It can get annoying. It is kind of annoying, but it's alright. He does have a knee joint that goes a long way due to transformation. And he does have ankle tilts. More so this way due to transformation, but he actually does have ankle tilts. Very cool. Now, he also has this one accessory I can just plug in on the 5mm ports on his forearms, or he can hold it in his hands. Although, why would he hold it in his hands? He's Megatron. He puts on this forearm. And the cannon itself, not looking too bad. I'm especially liking the shininess of the barrel with this purple accent colors. It does make it look very nice. But aside from that, it's just a fusion cannon. Very nice on his arm, but still a fusion cannon. Very cool. Now, taking a look at Optimus Prime's robot mode, you can see that Optimus Prime here, he do be looking like Optimus Prime. He is looking pretty neat. And here we have the back of him, looking very nice. There is a little bit of gappiness where his shoulders are, but honestly not that gappy. Now taking a look at his head. His head does look really cool. I mean, if you look at that. Like, look at that. Like, his head sculpt is awesome. Very sharp and very mean looking. I do like that. Now, the rest of his body is very standard when it comes to your Optimus Prime figures. I mean, he has the blocky shoulders, the windshield, chest, the grill abs, the details like that. His feet even have the silver vents. However, his thighs are in blue, are done up in this blue color, as well as these tank things right here, canister things right here. Which does, to me, kind of throw off his look to me. But those can just be, like, painted and stuff. And it's honestly not too bad. Although I will say, the legs are surprisingly filled in. I mean, obviously there's still a little bit of gapping, a little bit of gaps, but like looking at his legs from back here, they look solid. Like they look filled in, and even like bending, and even like looking at his legs from the inside, you do get a little bit of gappiness again, but you do have these big chunks just filling that in, make it look more filled in. It does look nice. It does have the bumper, but that's because it transforms. Very, very interesting. Now he also has the 5mm hands, and so does Megatron, so he can hold accessories. Okay, but before we get into that, let's talk about his articulation. So his articulation, it may seem like he might not have that much head rotation, but if you decide to flex the back panel here just a little bit, not enough to break it, he can actually do 360. And he can obviously look down like that, but I don't think that counts. He does, due to transformation, he does have his backwards butterfly movement. Does have his backwards butterfly, which means he can do stuff with his shoulders. He can rotate his shoulders like this, but oddly enough, no outward movement. However, he does have a bicep rotation and a ratcheted knee that goes up to 90 degrees. Cool. And here's something that the Megatron doesn't have, a waist rotation, or more like a chest rotation, but still abdomen rotation. Whatever you call it, it's a rotation in his torso area. Articulation in his torso, always nice. Now, mushroom pegs, as far as the hips go, his hips can kick up a good bit, he can kick back a good bit, and ratcheting for this next part, and they can kick out that far. But here's the thing, no knees and no ankle articulation. The ankle articulation is kind of a given, but no knees? That's sad. Everything else about this Optimus Prime is pretty solid. He just ain't got no knees. However, his indents for his ratcheting is a bit better than Megatron's, because he has more segments and they're a lot closer together, and he happens to have a set of segments where his feet can flatly be planted on the ground with no issues, unlike the Megatron. Now, as for accessories, he ain't got no accessories. He ain't got no accessories. No gun, no weapon, no axe, nothing. At least Megatron came with his fusion cannon. Although, I do notice that he has, like, this part on his on his chest, which kind of reminds me of the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, just a little bit. That's cool. Now, it's time for size comparisons. Here he is next to my Optimus Prime. Here he is next to the Netflix Prime. Here he is next to the Siege Megatron. And here he is next to, here they are next to Crosscuts. Now you can see that these guys are pretty big. Like, these guys are even taller than the Voyager figures. You guys absolutely tower over the Deluxes too. I believe the idea behind these figures is that kids, that for really young kids who aren't really good at the transformation stuff just yet, and these stuff would be like more easily. They would be able to transform these guys more easily, and these guys are really solid. I mean, look at this. Oh yeah, and the Optimus Prime, he has really. I really like the marbling done on the plastic for Optimus Prime. Looks very cool, very nice. Again, these guys are very durable, and these guys are also pretty easy to transform. So let's get into the transformations. So for Optimus, let's start off with Megatron. Take off the fusion cannon, flip out the feet, flip up the chest, straighten out the legs and rotate these up, flip in the legs, make sure you have everything nice and tapped in. The legs are going to tap into his butt. Right there, just the tap. Here it is. Bam. And bam. Those are just going to carefully just lock into place. And bam, these. Not too bad. These ports are going to go into those round pegs right there on either side. Boom. Can be a little difficult to do. Now just tab in the arms together and then tab the arms into the legs. And then after squeezing everything, locking everything in place, making sure that everything is in the right places. And there we have Megatron all transformed. Now it's time for Optimus Prime, and he's even easier. Flip the head down, bend the arms, bring the legs together, rotate, bend this part. Oh, and I forgot, this could be considered as an ab crunch. I guess you could use this as an ab crunch. But boom. And then you just do the classic Optimus Prime transformation move and just fold in his arms to fold the cab. And then just lock that in place. Then there we have Optimus and the Cyber Battalion, Optimus and Megatron, all transformed up into the vehicle modes. And I honestly really like this. Now, to me, their vehicle modes are where these toys really shine. Because look at these. I mean, look, come on. Of course, we're going to take a look at Megatron again. This time, we get Megatron looking really cool in this mode. I mean, look at that. First of all, we get the missile pods from these little gaps. Very nice. Of course, oddly enough, it's designed so most of them will just hit his armor. But nonetheless, that detail is still really cool. The treads look really awesome. I mean, look at the details on the treads. I mean, look at that. That's really cool. The armor plating is very nice. A nice bit of details. The turns where it can't rotate in any way. The barrel can rotate up, but the turret can't like swivel around. It can point up at least and down, so that's cool. Tank articulation. And the silver front here, while looking really cool, does again looks really cool, but it does kind of make the rest of the silver look a little bit cheaper than it is, which is odd. He does have clip-on wheels, does have these silver wheels, so he can roll pretty smoothly, looking really good. Now, we've pretty much taken a look at Megatron. We do get his hands exposed back here. And we do get his robot face under there. Hello. Overall, looking very nice. Optimus Prime. Wow. Optimus Prime looks really good, in my opinion. This is where this Optimus Prime really shines. And look at that. Okay, first of all, look at the wheels. The wheels look so good. We get and that again, the wheels look so good with the silver, with the rims painted in the silver, and how the rims looks really good. And because the thighs and stuff was painted in, it does make the beds. It does honestly make the bed of the truck look a little bit interesting. But I honestly think this would look a little better as a silver, the thighs and the canisters. But oh well. Of course, we do get like the feet just hanging out back there, but that's pretty common for Optimus Prime figures. But the cab looks really cool. The headlights, the lights up here that are detailed, even the headlights up here, headlight detailings up here and here, and the actual headlights that are depicted out. It even has review mirrors. Of course, the Autobots logos, and a little bit of detailing to let you know that this is a window, even though it's not painted in. And the overall shaping of the cab looks really cool. And the bumper looks nice. Just pretty much everything about this version of Optimus Prime in his vehicle mode looks really nice. I will totally display this Optimus Prime in his vehicle mode in my collection, even though it is a pretty simple toddler toy. It just looks so nice. And of course, with those really nice looking wheels, he can roll very nicely, very smoothly. Unfortunately, he ain't got no hitch or anything to hitch onto like a trailer. But that's fair because he ain't got no accessories. He ain't got nothing for accessories. He just got. The only thing he really has going for him, in my opinion, is this really awesome truck mode. And even the windshield wipers. That's so sick. Totally like this. And the Megatron's vehicle mode doesn't look that bad either. Very nice. Now, as for size comparisons, here they are next to Skids. Yeah, the Optimus Prime looks really nice next to a Generations toy, a legacy toy like this. And the Megatron doesn't look too bad either. And here they are next to my previous Transformer review, the Earthrise Starscream. Scaling's kind of iffy if you're like a vehicle jet expert, But they honestly do look good together. Very nice. Very cool. Now, overall, I honestly do like these two. They're very cool. They're very neat. Nice and sturdy. They feel solid. The robot modes, while articulation-wise, is very limited, and they honestly don't look all that impressive in the robot modes. Their vehicle modes do look really good, in my opinion. The Megatron, he's alright. He has a pretty good tank mode, but more so, this Optimus Prime looks really cool. And these guys aren't that expensive, because the whole idea for these guys is like a big figure. It's like these big solid toys for your little kids for a pretty cheap price, for a pretty low price. So yeah, you can look these guys up, and they honestly won't be that expensive, especially if you get the Amazon 2-pack, not sponsored. But if you get the Amazon 2-pack, then you get both of these guys. I believe the actual Cyber Battalion guys, these guys are packaged separately. But there is a 2-pack where they have both of these guys. And these are I would honestly highly recommend these for the little kids who honestly would more appreciate a more simplified transformation. And these guys have a good simple transformation. The Megatron is a little bit more complex, but it's honestly not too bad. But it's honestly not that complex. I mean the hardest thing about this guy is tabbing everything in. And the Optimus Prime is absolutely easy. It's almost Rescue Bot easy. Rescue Bot transformation easy. So overall, I do really like these guys. I'm honestly am a fan. Obviously, I'm a fan of their vehicle modes, especially Optimus Prime's. Optimus Prime's lack of any accessories is more than made up for in his vehicle mode, because that's awesome. I'm totally gonna display him in this mode. And I guess that'll be it for this review. If you enjoyed this video, consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.